Poppin' KT gang.
It's your girl Kay.
And it's your boy Tyron.
And we're back with another video. So for today's video, as you guys can see, we're in some real like chill, cozy vibes.
Right.
It's definitely just like a chill and cozy night. And we actually have some Taylor Port
You already know we got the Taylor Port on us. So.
Yeah, so y'all know it's super cozy tonight. We're about to get super just like real and raw with you guys because we are doing a holiday Q&A. So we haven't done a Q&A in quite some time.
It's actually it's been like 5 months or so. I think we did one over the summer.
Okay,
just like an updated one. So like one at the beginning of the year, one in the middle, and one at the end of the year is like perfect. Just to get you guys kind of updated with our lives, allow you guys to ask us some questions as well. I don't know if y'all follow us on Instagram, but if you don't, go ahead and make sure that you follow us on Instagram because again, we do ask the KT gang on Instagram a lot of times. Just send us questions, send us ideas, things like that. And we do have a lot of questions from you guys that we chose. So excited to kind of share those a little bit as well. So I think it'll be, you know, pretty interesting for you guys to get a little bit more insight on our lives and, you know, just an updated perspective on our lives.
Yeah, I'm very excited to hop on into this video. Before we get started today, definitely go ahead and if you're not already a part of the KT gang, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, show some love. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump on into our first question. First and foremost, y'all know we gotta pour our wine up though. So yeah.
You know we gotta have a Taylor Port. Like let's be honest, we done
ever since we started drinking it, we have not gone back. Like it's not any other wines for us.
It's all you need. It's all you need.
Yes, like it gets you so right, and yeah, I see why now. I see what the hype is all about. Yeah, we have not gone back since we started drinking Taylor Port. Yeah,
literally, and now it's just like we going to get some Taylor Port.
Okay.
Y'all disregard my little wine glass. It's just a glass cup.
Literally have broke all of
every
our wine
one of
glasses.
them. I don't understand how they're breaking. Like,
they're like just. I know how they're breaking is. You,
it
sir.
It might be me. I'm not gonna lie. But
but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Perfect.
Okay, let's get this party started.
Perfect, let's go. All right, so someone asked, this is a question for you specifically. They said, how are you feeling since the surgery? Any updates or like emotionally, how are you feeling mentally? Just like an update. Can you give them an update on you kind of like, you know, post-surgery, mentally, physically, emotionally as of like right now?
I don't know. I just feel like right now, the way that I'm feeling about just like the entire thing is just like, I feel really like free. I feel really like I'm in a good headspace about it, like mentally. Like I feel like this year has been so transformative and I've had to like get a lot closer to myself and to God and just like strengthen those relationships. And so I feel like I found so much peace in that, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it took pretty much up until now to really like feel how I'm feeling, but I really do feel a lot of peace about it. And I just know that everything's gonna work out the way that it's supposed to.
Right.
And I just feel like I just have full faith in that now. And I don't know, this year and the surgery as a whole has really just taught me that. So, you know, all in all, I just feel really hopeful and optimistic for the future. I feel that for 2024 as well. And again, I feel like everything just kind of had to happen the way that it did for a reason. Sure. And I feel like everything is gonna work out for us, you know what I mean? So at first, you know, it was definitely very, very painful and, you know, very hard to even just comprehend. And now I feel like, you know, time has definitely healed, you know, and it has just given me a new perspective overall just on life and, you know, on the situation. So yeah, I mean, everything's gonna work out how it should. I have faith in that, full faith in that, and you know, it just gives me peace. And so yeah, I'm just feeling just like full of peace and just gratitude, even just for life. Everything went how it went, but also things could have gone a lot worse, you know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
yeah,
I feel like, again, like I know we've said this before, but it's like I feel like everything regarding that situation kind of went the best way that it possibly could have. Like, you guys don't understand like the stress that we were experiencing, or that, I mean, you were in surgery, so you didn't really know, but I, you know, me, her mom, her whole entire family, my entire family, it was a lot of stress that we were going through during that surgery. And it's like, for it to come out and for us to be, you know, in the situation that we're in right now was literally the best possible outcome. So I'm just grateful. That's kind of what put me at peace of mind. Of course, I was even kind of down at first in the beginning as well, but it's like, I think that you know, again, I think it happens the way it should. Everything happens the way it should. Everything happens within God's plan. So it's like, I don't kind of look at the situation and feel bad about it or feel like, oh, I wish this could have been different. I actually read a quote today that said, if you were to go back and erase all the mistakes that you made in life or things that didn't go your way, you would erase yourself as well. And I think that's so true, because everybody wants to live a perfect life. They want to do everything perfect, but they don't really understand that what you go through kind of builds you to be who you are today, you know? And I think that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I feel like for you, you know, and for us, this is something that we already know we're going to grow from, we're going to develop from, we're going to change from. And I think it's already showing in our daily life. And I'm grateful that, you know, I would not be wanting to do life or, you know, our life now with anybody else. So I'm grateful for, you know, that I have you to continue and to just grow with in life. You know what I'm saying?
I'm grateful that I have you too.
No,
and
facts.
I feel like, that's what I was going to say. I feel like it's made us a lot stronger as well, like just within our relationship for a lot of different reasons. And also, I know we kind of talk about it, but I don't know if I really shared this with you guys, but prior to actually getting my surgery, like every single month was like terrible for me. Like, you know, going through my cycle, having my period, like that time of the month, which towards the end, like was lasting like 10 to 14 days.
It's pretty bad.
It was terrible. Like it was excruciating.
Like I'm talking like she would be
crippling
sleeping.
pain.
Like I'm talking about when her period started, she couldn't move.
I couldn't move.
Like it was like she has to sleep for most of the day.
We literally talked about the other day. I'm like, dang, I'm glad I don't have to take 100 ibuprofen every month.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like literally, we would buy the big pack of ibuprofen and it would be gone each
in
period,
1 week,
each month.
Literally, you would literally be like taking 10 to 12 ibuprofens a day. Like it was that bad for every day for the entire period. And
the pain was excruciating. It was crippling. And honestly, now looking back on it, it would just literally like, it would paralyze me for so much of my time. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's really freeing to, you know, actually be able to experience this year for like the first time in, I don't know, forever.
Right.
You know, it feels like that I haven't every single month have to be like bogged down by something. You know what I mean? So I feel like that is such a blessing as well. And I don't want to take that lightly, because like literally the pain that I was experiencing was like life altering, and me being able to have that freedom and have that time back and not have to experience that every month and just like fill myself up with just drugs and medicine. Like it
I mean,
feels
when you
good.
think
You know
about
what I
it,
mean?
then when you think about it, the pain is what caused us to go to the emergency room anyways. Like that, as well as the lump.
The
like,
pain is really what caused us to go to the emergency room, because I was in so much pain that night.
Last Christmas Eve, and it was literally so bad.
It was so bad that night. I was like screaming. I was like crying. He was like trying to be there, but like, you know, I was just like, I was in the bed, and then that's what even made me like notice the lump, and then that's when I got even more scared, and we were just like, okay, we need to go in. But before that, I couldn't hold food down. I was throwing up like it was just bad, y'all. So it's just like, you know, it feels good to know that I don't have to go through that pain anymore, even with everything that kind of happened. You know what I mean? So, you know, just a lot of healing has came through this year. Just a lot of healing has had to happen, and honestly, I feel like I'm just like in a better mental space than ever, and definitely in a better like spiritual space than ever too. So I mean, so much good came out of it that there's really nothing to, you know, be mad or, you know, sad or just feel any type of way about, because again, we know that everything's gonna happen how it's supposed to. We know that everything's gonna work out. We're still gonna have a beautiful family, and you know, we're gonna receive all of those promises that God has already given us. So what is there to really, you know, be upset about? What is there to really
stress about?
Yeah, or stress about. So feeling good.
Long story short, like we're in a good space.
Feeling
in a good space.
Okay, so someone actually asked me, do you and Tyron ever think about having separate YouTube channels? That's a good question, huh?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
So I guess I'll start. So I actually do have a separate YouTube channel, but the reality is, y'all, that YouTube takes a lot of work. Okay, YouTube takes a lot of work, and I feel like social media takes a lot of work in general as well. And trying to manage multiple YouTube platforms on top of multiple other social platforms that we have, because we both have our own separate TikToks, we both have our own separate Instagram pages, and then we have joint TikTok, we have joint Instagram, we have joint YouTube.
Right.
So I
like
think it's just a lot.
Right.
And, you know, I definitely want to, you know, eventually move towards that if we can find the time for it. But just being realistic, like, it's just so time consuming. So I think like really what I've kind of geared my mindset to more is just like using and seeing my TikTok as more of a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And like really using that as like my personal outlet, and kind of like how YouTube is, but just in a shorter form. I think that's really where my mind is going right now. And, you know, if it does happen in the future, like, you know, that's just something that maybe eventually we'll have more time for.
Right. I
just feel like right now we literally don't have time for it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the main thing. It's just time. Like you said, it takes a lot. I don't think people really understand.
People do not get it.
How much like work it takes to go into YouTube, or just go into
YouTube.
Right, especially YouTube. Especially YouTube. Like YouTube is the hardest
one.
Literally, YouTube is the hardest one. So it's like creating an entire channel, and because if I do it, I'm the type of person of like, if I do it, I want to make sure that I'm doing it. I don't want to start a YouTube channel, post one video, and then I'm gone for 6 months, and then I come back. Like, no, I want to be consistent on there. You know what I'm saying? So when I do have more time, I would love to just like start a YouTube channel for you know, not just for men, of course, but like with the guys, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm doing things that maybe the guys would want to see, or, you know, just kind of me living my life, and kind of, you know, you guys get to see a part of just my life personal instead of both of our lives together, or whatever the case is. But in the meantime, I'm kind of resorting to TikTok as well, trying to just get into the content space. You specifically, I mean, you've been doing content since you were basically in high school. Like, you've been doing content. For me, I've only been doing content for like a year. So it's like, I'm new to it still. I'm still trying to get the hang of how to brand myself and be a creator. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate goal at the end of the day. So I'm working on it, and I want to use my TikTok as an outlet, as just an outlet for me to kind of say what I want, do what I want, post what I want. And I think that's kind of what I'll just focus on for now. It's just on TikTok for both of us. It's easy for TikTok. Like, easy. Everybody loves TikTok. So yeah.
So with that being said, definitely make sure that you're following both of us separately on TikTok, and then follow our joint page on TikTok, because we do post on there quite a bit.
That kind of goes hand in hand with one of the questions that I did get. Someone actually asked, what are some things that y'all have grown to realize that y'all can do together versus doing individually? Like, how can y'all kind of differentiate the two, and like be like, okay, well, we can do this together, or this is something we can kind of do individually as well?
I think that's a really good question. And I feel like in our relationship, like, since we've just been together, and just even like before we were officially together, like, I feel like finding individuality has been something that we have really gotten into a lot more this year. You know what I mean?
I definitely think that.
Like, this has been the year where we're just like, okay, you know, we want to do stuff together. Of course, we have our things that we do together, but we also want to make sure we're making time to do things for ourselves as well, or like, you know, just keep that individuality aspect alive, because I feel like in a relationship it's easy to lose, but it's important to have, you know what I mean? So it's definitely something that, you know, just to kind of answer your question, I mean, I feel like personally I've realized things that I can do individually are going to be the more girly things, like the beauty things, or just creating content like that, or even just like having spaces in our home for that, like, you know, having my own vanity space, like having my space where I can, you know, do my skincare and do my hair care, do my beauty stuff, like that type of stuff is like kind of like a form of therapy for me. So like actually having that space in our home, and, you know, being able to like do that was definitely something that I feel like, you know, for me individually is something that I definitely need, you know, to definitely like have for myself.
The same way that you feel about, you know, you wanting that individuality of you just kind of doing things for your own therapy, is the same for me. Like, I enjoy going to the gym, I enjoy hanging out with friends, I enjoy just kind of watching sports and just like playing the game, like things that guys enjoy doing. Like, that's kind of my therapy. That's kind of how we separate ourselves. We don't do everything together, guys. Like, I know it may look that way, but it's like we have our own things that we enjoy doing personally, like not just like together. So I think that's kind of what you kind of learn about in a relationship, is like you learn
the balance.
You learn the balance of being, you know, together, and you also learn the balance of being an individual. You know, at the end of the day, we are still just individuals. So you want to have that little sense of individuality within yourself as well, because if you get too caught up in a relationship, it's almost like crippling for you.
It's easy to lose yourself.
Yeah, you can lose yourself if you're so focused on just the togetherness. Right.
Together.
And that's not what we want. We always want, of course, we're always going to be there 100% for each other, but we also want to make sure that we're there 100% for ourselves. So it's just finding that balance and just realizing that, and then, you know, doing the things that we enjoy doing together, and also making sure that we do the things that we enjoy doing separately as well. And just talking through it and working through it and figuring that out together. So, all right. This is a funny question.
Okay.
Someone actually asked, how often do y'all do it in a week? Like on a weekly basis, like what's an average that y'all do it in a week? And it's kind of hard to say.
I feel like it varies.
It really depends on the week.
Yeah.
Like I want to say anywhere between like 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Like 2 and 4. 2 on a super busy week.
Yeah.
4 on a week where it's like we don't really got too much to do. We chilling. You know, we got a little extra time. But what happens is we work like literally all day. Like it's like we're super busy all the time. So from 8 a.m. basically to 10 o'clock p.m. we're doing something, we're working, we're making content, we're editing, we're creating.
Sometimes later, like right now it's 10:52.
It's literally 11 o'clock right now. So it's like
we've been up since 8.
Since 8 a.m.
So just to give y'all perspective,
it's one of those nights where we might not be, you know, you might not, I might not get lucky tonight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just depends on our moods at the end of the day, how tired we are. And everybody thinks that, you know, just because you live with your significant other, it's like you just go crazy like rabbits all day, and that's really not what it is. It's literally not. That's literally not what it is. A lot of times we literally just crawl in bed and we're done. Like we're done. We're done. So you know, maybe one day when we get a little bit more time, and we're, you know, really.
It depends though.
Yeah, it just depends. It depends.
So somebody asked a question about content specifically. They said, do you always reach out to brands every week, or do they typically reach out to you and email you to get in contact and to work with you?
That's a good question.
So so that is a really good question. So we do a little bit of both. So we do some pitch emails where we do reach out to brands and, you know, see if they want to do brand deals, things like that. And then we also have a lot of brands, especially since we started doing TikTok Shop. We have a lot of
like
brands.
Too many. Like it's actually like, it's too many to where
it's kind of overwhelming.
It's overwhelming now. We're like, we should go through these emails. We should go through these.
If we showed y'all, they're just sitting there right now.
They're sitting there.
Right now.
It's too many.
Even right now.
It's too many.
Because with TikTok Shop, there are so many brands that just want to collab with you and just like send you free products for you to go ahead and, you know, kind of promote for an affiliate. So, you know, and honestly, TikTok Shop is so great because, you know, we have like had a lot of success in TikTok Shop over the past couple of months. But again, like we said, we are always so busy that it's just so hard to keep up with sometimes.
Right.
So it's like, you know, being able to like keep up with TikTok Shop and answer all those like people that are DMing us, it's a lot, y'all. But you know, if we do have brands that we really want to work with, we will reach out to them. We definitely do our own pitching, but we also have like a ton of brands reaching out to us
like
too,
a lot,
which
like,
is a blessing.
It's a little bit of both. Yeah, like I said, I was literally gonna say that it's a blessing because you know, looking from where we started or looking from how things used to be, like, and that kind of goes into my next question as well. It's like, it's so crazy, like we keep bouncing questions off each other. Someone asked me, what's the biggest misconception of being like an influencer or in the content creator space, or like what don't people, what did they say? It said, what do people not tell us? And I think that's a big misconception. A big misconception is that it's just like, number one, it's super easy. It's super just easy, chill. You just get paid to talk about all this thing. You get paid to live. Like, yes, technically you do, but at the same time, like, it's a lot of hard work. Yeah, your work is your life now. Like, it's like you do have the freedom to kind of just do the things you want to do, but it's also like you also want to continue creating so that way you can create new opportunities for yourself anyway. So yes, we can go on vacation, but our vacation has to consist of content or else. Which is still work. Yeah, it's work. You know what I'm saying? It's work at the end of the day. Creating content, editing content, it's work, you know. So
if we could show you guys the amount of content that we have backed up to edit
that we just have not had an opportunity to edit, you would be like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's backed up for a month.
Do you really want this lifestyle? Like, do you really want to sit back, look at your phone, and you have 10 videos to edit? Like, you haven't even started editing yet. Like, that's how content is. It may look easy, it looks sweet, it looks cool. I know a lot of people like it, but it's like, it is still an occupation. It is still a job, and you still have to work at it every day to be the best that you can at it. So it is a blessing to be in the position that we're in. We're just scratching the surface. We're literally just scratching the surface.
Looking back on last year where we were to this year, it's like such night and day. So I'm just like, it's such a blessing to be where we are and to have like brands reaching out to us and stuff like that. But you know, at a certain point, it really gets to a point where you really do need help, and you know, you're just like, I literally can't deal with all this.
It's too much.
It's too much.
No, it's
So you know, there's just a balance in everything, and I feel like you said, like, you know, I think the most common misconception is just thinking that it's easy and thinking that it's just like a breeze, it's a walk in the park, or also thinking that like you don't really have to do much to like get somewhere with content. Like, I feel like you just have to do so much, and you have to really be consistent, and you have to be willing to work when you're not getting paid anything at all.
That's the biggest thing about it. The biggest misconception about social media marketing or influencing or content creation is that you're not getting paid for every little thing that you do in the beginning. You know, in the beginning when you're building your portfolio, it looks good, and I'm glad a lot of people, you know, even us, we make it look good, but at the end of the day, you gotta be okay with working on your craft without getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is.
That's what I'm not willing to do.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it as, oh, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm looking at it as, okay,
we love to do this.
Yeah, I love to do this. This is a part of my craft. Like, this is making me better. I'm learning a lot more about content creation. Again, 18 months ago, I didn't even think about content creation. So I've learned so much over the past 18 months that I would have never learned if I would have never just took it serious and dove into it and really dug deep and tried to like learn as much as I could. So you got to be willing to put in the work for it to get to the levels and the statuses of these influencers, and you know, that have
been doing it for
they've been doing it for 5+ years. It's because they've been doing it consistently for 5 years. We've only been at it for a year and a half. So it's like we have more time to grow, more time to, you know, just learn and develop into our game. And then you'll look up 5 years from now and we'll be somewhere we don't even be like, it's
that
crazy.
We probably can't even imagine.
Right, it's crazy where we're gonna be 5 years from now. Like, I'm excited just to even think about that. So So a quick question that someone else asked me is, in a relationship, like, how do y'all handle like conflict or frustration with each other? Or do y'all have like times where y'all are frustrated and like, I mean, we live in the same house, so it's like, what do we do? Literally, like, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I look at it as like,
should've just happened last night.
It literally just happened. Like, I was frustrated about something, and I just, for me, it's like I had to give it a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Again, we live in the same house.
Like the most important thing, and the easiest thing to do is just like give each other some space.
Right.
Especially when you live with each other.
It's okay.
Like, give each other some space.
Right, it's okay. I mean?
Like, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, we woke up this morning and we were
perfectly
just like,
fine. I was like, oh, what was I even mad about? Like, I was literally
I mean, we weren't even mad about anything. I feel like when we fight these days, it's just like it's not even really a fight.
Right,
it's just like some stupid stuff. It's just like some petty stuff that's just like, we just need a little space, and we'll wake up the next morning and feel fine.
And
so we definitely find ourselves, you know, getting frustrated or just having little tiffs. You know, we definitely don't argue all the time by far. Like, I mean, it's like, it's not all the time, but I mean, of course, like you said, when you live with someone and you're just constantly around them, like, you're bound to kind of butt heads a little bit at some point, or just like get frustrated about random things, you know? But I think the best way that we handle it is just, if one person wants to talk, just being willing to listen and understand that person. If one person doesn't want to talk, just being willing to like give them space, like just being willing to be whatever your partner needs at that time.
Right, and just let them be like, just let them be.
Yeah, just let
you know
them
what I'm
be.
saying? If they don't want to talk, like, don't force them to talk.
Yeah.
Let them be. Let them think. Let them sit on it. And then again,
if you want to talk later, we can talk later.
Right,
if you don't want to talk about it, or you realize after you have that space that it's not even worth it, like,
it's not worth it.
We'll you know, whatever.
Right.
But,
so it's just about communication, knowing your partner, and if you feel like you don't know your partner enough to do that, like, that's a sector of y'all's relationship that you know now that y'all have to get better at if you want to be with that person. So it's like, we got to realize that we're still growing in our relationship. So you may still be growing in your relationship, and it's fine to do that. Like, the last question that we have is a very quick question. Someone asked, what is y'all's biggest accomplishment this year?
I feel like individually, my biggest accomplishment this year is definitely, I would say, just like growing a close relationship with God. I feel like some people might not realize that as an accomplishment, but I feel like for me, like, that's just such a big thing for me, and something that, you know, I kind of started the year with, of course. Like, with everything that happened in January, I really just like buckled down and was like, look, I need to get serious about my spirituality and my relationship with God. And I feel like just this year I've definitely like buckled down on it, and, you know, really have grown and developed that, you know. And I feel like that's definitely something that I cherish a lot, and that I want to get even stronger with. Of course, it's a journey, you know, there's definitely no end to that, you know. So I definitely want to just like continue to grow in that way, and just continue to, you know, grow in my relationship with God. But I feel like that's like one of my most like distinguishing accomplishments for myself this year, because it's something that, I don't know, I feel like in the past I didn't really have that much of, and I feel like, you know, just this year has like really brought me so much closer, and it's helped with my confidence in so many ways. It's helped with my self-worth and my self-image in so many ways. It's helped with just my entire, like, you know, being in presence. And I feel like, you know, as well, just like on top of that, it's just like just being able to step out and be myself, and, you know, even be more confident, and, you know, continue to post on social medias, and just like, you know, just grow more into myself. I feel like that's just like my biggest accomplishment this year.
I feel like mine is, of course, that as well, but I feel like for me it's more so just like I've learned a lot about myself this year. I think my biggest accomplishment is just understanding myself, because it was just a battle. Like, the past 2 years, 2021 and 2022 were probably two of the hardest years of my entire life as far as just mental battles. But this year, especially like the second half of the year, I've just learned to be more accepting of what is, and understanding of what I can make it to be. And that was just so hard for me, because I would get so easily, you know, I would get so easily frustrated. I would just be so upset when things don't go the way I want it to go. I would just be like very hard on myself almost, because it's like I have very big dreams, very big aspirations, a lot of things I want to accomplish. But it was when I didn't see things coming to pass, it was just like I would get super frustrated, and I would get super down on myself. But I think that this year, the past 6 months, honestly, I've just grown a lot mentally. I'm not really sure how or what. I just kind of think I came to a realization of like, I need to be more like centered, you know? And it's kind of helped me out a lot, you know, because this year has been super tough, just mentally. And I think that, you know, just getting through that and learning more about myself and being more just vulnerable with myself. You know, everybody wants to be vulnerable with other people, but sometimes you gotta just be vulnerable with yourself. Have those moments where you're just like being honest with yourself and finding those things that kind of makes you feel good. This year I found a lot of things that when I am feeling bad, that makes me feel good. And that's all that you need to worry about. That's all that you need to focus on, because when you feel good, you do good. Like good things happen when you feel good. So for me this year, I've been really focused on feeling good as much as I possibly can. And I just see my life doing a whole transition, like a whole 180. And it's crazy to see, but I'm super confident in 2024. Like, I've never been more excited, you know? So yeah, I think that's the biggest accomplishment for me, because that's been something that I've been really struggling with over the past couple of years. It's not something I've really showed a lot, but it's something that I've been dealing with a lot over the past couple of years. So
I would say together, just to be completely transparent with you guys, like, I don't know if you plan on sharing this, but we actually did just get monetized on YouTube, which I feel like is just a really big accomplishment for us as a team, as a collective. Like,
Like, people don't really understand how
Yes.
YouTube works. YouTube is hard.
It's hard.
Like, to get monetized, to be able to now, you know, you see the work that you're doing kind of paying off.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Yes.
Like, you really have to fight through those times again. We started our YouTube channel in April or May.
It was probably June. It was the summer.
Yeah, June of 2022.
It might have even been July.
Might have been July.
Yeah.
July of 2022.
But we started, summer of last year is when we started.
18 months.
Almost,
18 months
pretty much.
of just basically posting consistent content, giving you guys the best content we can possibly give. And in 18 months, we were able to now see the fruits of our labor. And I think that's a super, super big accomplishment. And it's so crazy how it happened, like, at the end of the year, because I feel like it's just setting up our 2024 for where we want it to be. Because when I tell you guys, we have so much planned for 2024.
We really do.
We'll talk more about that in maybe a later video in Vlogmas. But we have so much planned for 2024 that we're gonna share with y'all, and we just can't wait for y'all to see, because y'all have been rocking with us now for 18 months. So we want to do a lot for you guys. So I think that is a great accomplishment. Like, our biggest accomplishment of the year is something we've been working for. Yeah, we've been working for
so hard
since we started.
We just appreciate you guys so much, because of course we wouldn't have done it without you guys. So it's definitely something that we're just like, we give it back to you guys, because we're just so grateful to have you guys support, and especially to the people who are just like consistently here and consistently leaving comments, consistently liking, consistently sharing.
Nothing goes unnoticed.
We do not go, that does not go unnoticed.
No comment, I promise you, no comment, no like, comment, no interaction,
every bit of interaction,
nothing,
every repost,
nothing goes unnoticed.
Just appreciate
and we try to respond to as many comments as we can, like as many comments. Like, I promise you guys, nothing goes unnoticed. Like, we truly do appreciate everybody that literally tunes in.
We really do. So this is an accomplishment for all of us. It's a win for all of us. And if you are just starting on YouTube, this is a KT gang.
It's KT gang. Like, it's not us growing. It's
all of us growing.
Like, yes, you watching this right here at this moment, you are a part of something special.
Yes.
Like, I promise you, we will not stop. You know, we will not slow down. We will not, like, we're gonna do this for you guys. So,
and if you're just starting your YouTube journey, just know that it will happen. You know, eventually it will happen. Just keep going. I know it's tough. I know it's hard, but it will happen.
Keep going.
Just keep going.
Keep going. It'll pay off. I promise you.
It will pay off.
I know that's cliche, but like, it's real.
But it's so real. Please keep going.
Don't stop.
It can still happen for anyone. It's not too saturated. There is no one in this space like you. So just keep going.
Yeah, it's never, that's one thing about social media, is that it'll, no matter what they say,
there's space for everyone.
It'll never be saturated. It will never be too many people on social media doing content
no one
creation.
like you.
There's nobody that's like you. So you will always be the different person that somebody else can relate to. So whatever it is that you want to post about, turn that camera on and start talking. Start talking, and I promise you, it'll pay off in the end. So yeah. But
yeah, y'all, we're getting a little lit.
A little something.
The wine is getting us good, but yeah, that basically wraps up today's Q&A. If you enjoyed just hanging out with us and getting to know us a little bit more, definitely go ahead and make sure that you subscribe